Now, when you chose your first wife, Daphne, back home in the West, friends or family didn't advise you, be careful with your decision making. Be careful who you choose is a common expression in the Philippines. Blurted out by total strangers on the street you've never met before, as if a number of Filipinas are wrong-uns. Being asked, are you single? 20 times a day, even before you're asked your name. To which I respond, yes, still searching. Take your time, they say. Don't settle with the first one you meet. Choose wisely. Searching, however, comes with a Filipina health warning, as you're kicking Filipina legs like used car tyres. Only 10 previous owners. Buyer beware. All Filipinas are scammers. Don't worry. I'm not going to settle for the first Filipina who admits undying love for me. I've only been here 5 years. I'm not that stupid. Now, I wish I'd known these things I'm going to talk about when I first started dating Filipinas 5 years ago. It would have saved me a lot of grief, and I might still have hair.
Hello, good morning, good evening, and welcome to Big World Cinema. Without further ado, we'll continue with what you're here for.
Westerners, foreigners, expats, whatever you want to call them, having ended their lives in their home country, arrive in the Philippines seeking to start afresh with a fresh Filipina, knowing nothing about Filipinas or the Philippines. Just armed with the knowledge that Filipinas don't care about your age or what you look like, apparently. So in the West, a guy's girlfriend, wife, partner wasn't the focus of his life. But when they move to the Philippines, he makes his new young trophy the focus for his remaining days, as if she's all to live for. So I recently produced a video about the perfect age of Filipinas to date. The majority of girls I've dated here have been younger than 30. Older than that, and I find them pretty jaded, in my opinion. Now, if you're going to date a Filipina less than 30, you need to make sure she's mature. As I've said before, maturity works both ways. You'll find Filipinas under 30 lack maturity, but you can also find Filipinas at 22 who are pretty mature already. The age of my longest relationship with a Filipina was 22. Filipina time. You've probably heard of this. How did Filipina time become a thing? How is lateness ever acceptable? Do not allow her Filipina time. Being late is rude, inconsiderate. My old man instilled the importance of being on time from a young age. If I'm running late myself, I start to panic. Do not allow her to be late. She can only be late if her period starts in the jeepney on the way, or she gets a call saying her buffalo has died. That is it. You need to be firm from the start. If you're going to be more than 15 minutes late, do not bother. Turn around and go home, because I will not be there. Get them to video call you from the location saying they're actually here, or on their way. Although that's not often accurate. They will say they're on their way when they mean on the way to the pail and dipper in the backyard to prepare. They're not on the way at all. Before we became a couple, my Filipina girlfriend would journey from the provinces an hour away to meet me in IT Park. I'd say, text me when you're near so I could walk there in 10 minutes. Only she never would. She'd just text when she arrived saying, I'm here. Jesus. Or place yourself in a coffee shop or bar where you're happy to wait for 2 hours. I once waited 2 hours in IT Park for a Filipina before I got wise. 2 friggin' hours, which I could have been putting my time to better use. Like, friggin'. Back at school, we had a record player in the sixth form block common room and were allowed to play records between lessons. I mean, lessons in the sixth form was like one every 2 days, so we had a lot of spare time. In the common room area was the office of Mr. Mahoney, otherwise known as Spam. I can't recall why his nickname was Spam. I think his Christian name was Paul. So Spam was a hunchback who taught me history. Now this is a true story. Nice old fella he was. Anyway, one day Andy McLeanthorne, whose nickname was Spew because he had shaggy hair and buck teeth, brought in a Sex Pistols record aptly titled Friggin' in the Riggin'. So picture this, Spam the hunchback storming out of his office asking whose record it was and going ballistic at Spew with his buck teeth, telling him to remove that filth immediately. Oh, happy days. Anyway, where was I? Oh yeah, dating or waiting. What time are we meeting? Later. What time? I hate flakiness where I'm waiting around all day not knowing whether we're meeting or not. Just tell me a time. Then I can plan my day around that time. Rather than not knowing whether it's actually going to happen or not. Just friggin' tell me. So if we're not meeting, I can arrange a date with Rosie Palmer and her 5 sisters instead. Don't let them bring their family. Look, I know Filipinas are shy and will often ask to bring a friend, which is understandable. But don't let them take advantage of you. Sure, I've been there before a couple of times where I've bought a date and a friend a meal, but some Filipinas take the piss, sense a kind-hearted foreigner and bring their whole family and barangay members to dine at the foreigner's expense. Unless you're planning on getting serious with the lady, I suggest not buying them all caviar and heading to Jollibee instead. Although I did meet a foreigner in Cebu who was taken to the cleaners in Jollibee, bit stupid really, allowed the girl's family to buy extra stuff to take home with them. You need to be clear from the start, and if she does insist on you feeding the whole family, tell her you're not doing that unless all her sisters are prepared to turn tricks. If she does turn up alone, say at a coffee shop or diner, I suggest you sit down with her first before ordering anything. Say, spend the first 10 minutes with her, seeing how she reacts towards you. If during that first 10 minutes she sat staring gormlessly at her phone like her life depended on it, not giving you any attention, I'd just get up and walk away. Just leave her sitting there. Also, a gauge of a good Filipina is asking her to choose the restaurant. If a potential date chooses like a Michelin star restaurant, I'll be inclined to reject her, as she's clearly only interested in emptying your wallet. Seeing dating profile photos all shot in fancy restaurants or saying she likes being spoiled is a swift swipe left. She's not gonna wash with me. She's not gonna be interested in a man of my saliva. Oh yeah, never tell anyone you're going out on a date tonight, because the chances are it's not going to happen and she won't turn up. So don't jinx it by telling anyone. And if she doesn't turn up, always have a backup Filipina in reserve you can call and say you've cleared your schedule to meet her instead. Whatever you do, do not say you were going out on a date and you've been blown out. I do love Filipina's style of dressing
Filipinas tend to dress down to their skimpy shorts, would prance around my condo just wearing their underwear. So it's kind of beneficial to say that the AC isn't working, so they get hot or hotter. Most Filipinas get comfortable with you very quickly and are incredibly tactile. They might not like showing displays of affection in public, but they make up for it behind closed doors. Even when I've just met them, they'll be keen to sit on my lap. Before I'd even got jiggy with my 22-year-old girlfriend, we'd be lying cuddling on the bed and she'd just fiddle with my John Thomas, which was kind of weird. It wasn't a sexual thing or didn't lead to that. She'd just like playing with it as if she was stroking a hamster. Reminded me of my old man who used to sit watching TV twiddling with his hair. Then after I'd got together with her, we'd sit watching Netflix and she'd sit at the table twiddling with my old man, like a comfort thing. Their clinginess is a good and bad thing. Often I'd be stood at the kitchen counter cooking or doing the washing up, and my Filipino would just come up behind me and wrap her arms around me, which was very endearing. Filipinas are insanely jealous ladies, or maybe just insane. Before we got together, my Filipina girlfriend would think that my going to the mall was a euphemism for going to meet girls. So when I went to the Metro supermarket in Cebu that was located in Ayala Mall, I'd always feel guilty. Would whiz around doing my shopping in double quick time in case she texted or called and asked where I was at that precise moment. She had terrible trust issues. For example, I'd be at my condo in Cebu and she'd be at her parents' home in the province, and she'd ask me to send her a photograph of the food I was preparing, which I did. Old photo? She'd ask. No. Then she'd send an image of her doing a thumbs up and ask me to copy that pose and take a photograph again with my head over the frying pan. The first time I obliged her, but never again. Clearly an old boyfriend had sent her old photographs of him cooking pork adobo whilst he was busy porking another girl.
If you like what you're seeing here and want to stay connected with life in the Philippines, I think you need to subscribe and click the notification bell. Thank you.
Filipinas have an issue with how long you've been in the Philippines. By saying you've been here for 6 months already, they automatically assume you've slept with the entire country. I'd planned to meet a Filipina in Manila the previous weekend, but she wanted to chat with me on video call first. When I said I've been living here for 5 years already, she clearly showed she wasn't happy about that and almost had a fit. Didn't bother me. I'm glad we video chatted before meeting, as she wasn't all that anyway. My Filipina girlfriend asked me how many Filipinas I'd met already. By met, she meant slept with, as yet again Filipinas assume that every date's going to end with a happy ending. 1, I lied. She asked for the girl's name, wanting to check her out on Facebook, but I wouldn't tell her. Filipinas are like amateur sleuths, delving into your head or possessions, looking for clues to what you might be up to. One day we were out walking and she asked who Cara or Sarah is. I don't know. Why'd you ask? You mentioned one or the other in your sleep, she said. I don't know a Cara or Sarah, I said. She didn't believe me. But you're still on the dating websites, she'd say. Which I wasn't. I'd stopped doing that when we got together. Do you want your Filipina girlfriend to live with you 24/7? Debatable. Sure, the companionship is great, but their constant presence is at times suffocating. For half the time we were dating, my Filipina was without work, so she spent each day perched on my shoulder, watching me work at my laptop. Filipina's clinginess means you can't be out of their sight, needing to give them attention 24/7. You're on their watch now, whether you like it or not. There ain't no me time anymore. Filipinas resent you having any me time, i.e. that time that is meant purely for me, not you. During my me time, I love reading my book or going to the gym or watching porn or going to the pub with my mates to watch dancing girls. Filipinas don't really have me time because she wants to be with me all the time. But when she has me time, she wants to involve me. Her me time is spent making TikTok videos, expecting me to watch her me time, not wanting me out of her sight. And me doesn't want that. You need to make sure you put your foot down and insist on having your own time and space away from her. Otherwise, you'll start resenting her presence, like what happened to me. One weekend, my Filipina went to see her parents in the province. But that evening, there was a knock on my condo door. She had her own key, but she still knocked, having not texted or told me she was returning, as if she wanted to surprise me. Other days when she'd return to the condo after work and I'd have locked the door from inside, which I'd do as a matter of habit, she'd still ask, "Why do you have the door locked?" She wouldn't believe me about certain things. We'd been watching a film called The Platform, which I'd really enjoyed. "But you kept yawning," she said. "Doesn't mean I didn't like it. People lie," she said. Sure, I'd lied in the beginning about little things like my age and how many Filipinas had sat on my face, but when I was actually telling the truth and she didn't believe me, I'd get annoyed. Why would I lie about liking a film or not? It didn't make any sense. There was always something wrong. If I asked a question, she'd always react suspiciously or negatively. Even a simple question after she'd prepared food like, "Who cooks this food at her home?" would be answered, "Why? Is it bad?" At least getting a reaction from her is better than getting no reaction, I guess. I learned about tempo the hard way. Like, what the fuck is happening? Why is she not talking to me? Have I said something wrong? What have I done? I had no idea that tempo was actually a thing. But yeah, you don't know what you've done wrong as she's not talking to you. She's ignoring you. Now mute, shut down, no communication, no comeback. My worst nightmare, really. You're now in the doghouse. I don't know how to deal with it. I should just walk away and let them brood, but I carry the broodiness with me and can't shake it off. It affects my mood, the not knowing. It would be so much easier if she'd just say what you've done wrong, but she won't, as she's not speaking to you. You're now tuned into radio silence. It's very childish, like a teenage strop. Tell her there's going to be no tempo in my house, otherwise she's out. Although other commenters have suggested, tempo? Ah, there's your me time. Just a quick reminder to please click the thumbs up button if you liked the video, or thumbs down button if you didn't. Obviously. Thank you. After being together for 5 months, I finished with my Filipina. I couldn't handle the constant grief. So now I was single again and back on the dating apps. After 3 months making crass communication with illiterate Filipinas with illegitimate kids, I got back with my ex-girlfriend. So now we were having an unserious relationship, like a casual relationship, with sleepovers at the weekend and sometimes during the week. She wasn't into that. Filipinas want all or nothing. They want the full Monty, not the half-assed. Not wanting to be used for sex anyway. They'd rather get paid for it. I don't think I'll date another Filipina that age again. The jealousy, the silent conversations, the almost 40-year age gap, too many cultural and historical differences. She was too young, childish and insecure, whereas I was now too old, irritable and insecure, and single once more. Hey ho! Good luck with your dating experiences. Let me know in the comment section how you're getting on. been watching Uncle, the man from Big World Cinema. Please like, subscribe and share with your friends.